Oh, good morning. I am up, raring to go. I'm sitting here waiting to load onto the ferry back to Maine. Correction on my cat ferry video. RVs and buses can actually fit on that thing. I can't believe that. That is unbelievable. So you can do that. So if you have an RV, you can get on that ferry. You may have known that. And I'm sitting here talking at the time that I haven't released that video, so there may be a little caption there correcting that, yes, you can. So that cat ferry is amazing, and I will tell you that it's a good option, man. It's expensive. I get it. It was about $400 round trip on that deal, but you know, I would spend there near the same amount of money in gas. But if I had my RV van, and I would drive it too. I mean, it takes longer. It's about 6.5, 7 hour drive, depending on where you're coming from in Maine, depending on where you're going to over in the Nova Scotia area. So not that far if you're going, depending on where you enter, to Montreal or Toronto, you know, but like I say, it just depends on where you're going in Canada. So, and that's that. We're going to be sitting here for about 45 minutes before we load up, and then it'll have me back in Bar Harbor about 12 to 12:30 p.m. And then from there, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do, easing back towards South Carolina at some point. Indeed. The fog is thick this morning. Even see Nova Scotia. New England fog. North Atlantic. Good morning. You can hear the ship horn like I'm on a cruise ship above me, but we're on the ferry and it's very foggy. You can't even see out. There's no view. So, but the cool thing is I didn't realize on the ferry coming in the other day that there's these workspaces, man. I can see these little desks. And it has power. I can work. I didn't realize that. So that's what we're going to do here. We get about 3 hours and 15 minutes until we get to Bar Harbor. Should be cool. What's going on? Everything went great with the trip to Nova Scotia. Got off the ferry, and I'll tell you, the Homeland Security coming in was pretty cool at the border. I mean, they were real good. They asked standard questions. They weren't like trying to interrogate me or drill me, which was good. So I'll give it that. I mean, going in, the Canadian customs guy was so cool. And he was telling me about a famous actor that was on the boat with us, and you don't know these people around you. And it was the guy that played in St. Elsewhere in the 80s, and he was in The Green Mile with Tom Hanks. David Morse. He was on the boat with us going to Nova Scotia. I'm pretty sure it was David Morse, because he didn't tell me exactly, but it's the only tall guard that played in, and he said he played in The Rock too with Nicolas Cage and years ago, and he was in that movie, so stands to reason it was him. But we're heading to Littleton, New Hampshire here. A few years ago I stopped by there. It was so cool and beautiful, and we'll check in more on that when we start hanging around there a little bit and wandering around. I believe I'll be there around 6:45, close to 7, so figure out where I'm going to eat dinner, and then what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to stay in the Honda or in a hotel room. Depends on my mood. It's all good. We're going to do it, folks. But this drive here from off of Augusta, Maine to Littleton, New Hampshire, you get out of the Augusta area and all these little towns, and it's such a beautiful drive, man. I'll tell you, I recommend you, when you're coming from 95 near Augusta, Maine, north of Portland, is to take this drive like 202, and it goes up, crosses 93, goes into Littleton. It's about a couple hours. So worth it. Take that drive. It's beautiful. And when you drive it, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's for sure. So we'll check back with you once we get to Littleton. Oh, what's up, my friends? I am in Littleton, New Hampshire this morning, and got a good night's sleep, and I am gonna go have a cup of coffee at this place that I got the last time, provided they're still open. I don't know that. But Littleton, New Hampshire is it's on the list of the 50 coolest towns in America, but I don't know if that's an advertising thing or what that is, but this is a cool little town. It really is. It's beautiful, and it's got that really New England nostalgia to it, I guess, if that's a good way of putting it. So we'll get out and walk around a little bit, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to head to Stowe, Vermont today. And I've been to Stowe before, but this time I'm going to the coffee shop that is there that the channel Nomadic Movement owns. I followed them for a while, and go see their coffee shop, go see what it's all about. Apparently that's supposed to be the coffee shop to go to in Stowe, but it wasn't there a few years ago when I was in Stowe, Vermont. There was a different coffee shop, and I think there's like 3 coffee shops in Stowe, so they got some competition up against them, but apparently they seem to be doing pretty good. So let's see what we can get into, folks, shall we? So it looks as if the coffee place I hit a few years ago was closed here, but there is another one in town called the Inkwell. Not sure if the Inkwell was a chain here or if it's local in the town. We'll find out. We'll hit it. Indeed, but this is the covered bridges. In fact, I took a video of this a few years ago when I was here. It was so cool. Look at that river. That's so cool, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. And here's where you know the old nostalgia with these rivers and the old mills and stuff. And this is where it's really cool to see these old buildings. And check this out right there. Isn't that cool? Doesn't look to be running anymore, but the river ran things here back in the day before they had power. So I found out by reviewing my video from 3 years ago that the Inkwell is still in business. As I mentioned earlier, we are heading there. They've moved. They're not in this back alley. They moved somewhere else. So I'm going to get the directions and go have another cup of coffee with these guys. So they were down the hill here, kind of hidden about 3 years ago. And I was wondering, man, it's kind of hard for them to find, but I mean, people will find it. They had signs, but it appears that they've moved to a new address. So we're going to go have a cup of coffee and check that out. It should be pretty cool. Oh, the Inkwell is a good cup of coffee. It is. Impressed. Very good cup of coffee. Definitely they moved to a bigger space, but they weren't too talkative today, but that's okay. We're human. Listen, I've owned a retail business before. I can tell you it's hard. Some days you just don't want to talk. You'd help the customer and just kind of do your thing, be nice, but just, it's called being human. Can't fault somebody for that you can't. So we're going to venture from here over to Stowe, Vermont, go for a little drive. I might drive through Montpelier. We'll see. It's only about 23 miles from there, so not a whole lot going on. It's just a little, Montpelier is the capital. And I feel my last video I did a few years ago on it, I couldn't pronounce it for the longest, man. I was like, why can I not pronounce the capital of Vermont? But my brain. Probably all that sugar I was eating was fogging my brain. Shit, they ain't no telling. Anyway, we're gonna go for a little drive. We're gonna get out. The weather, thank goodness, has been absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna go enjoy it, indeed. We'll get back to you in a little bit. Well, folks, if you follow the channel Nomadic Movement, you know they have a coffee shop in Stowe, Vermont. It's called the Roastery. And I am here now. We're going to go try their cup of coffee and go see what it's all about. Let's go check this out. So, TJ, they have partners in this? They have partners with them in this?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like, it's hard to run a business, you know, out of the country, you know, with, you know, out of partner. They roast the coffee, roast the beans every day. Oh, very cool. All right, folks, I just left the Roastery here in Stowe, Vermont, and I'll tell you, that was a good cup of coffee. It was not a big cup. I don't think they serve but one size cup.
Say a command.
Excuse me one second. I don't think they serve but maybe one size of a cup, because I said large, but they only have one size. But I'll tell you, that was a great cup of coffee. It really was. Just telling me a little bit about how they grind their beans and roast them every day. They have a roaster right there in the store. He will roast 15, 16 bags maybe a day. They a lot of their business they do ship out. They ship out coffee from there. I bought a bag of their decaf. She ground the beans right there for me and sealed it back, and we're gonna try that when I get home. It'll be cool. So I guess there's a lot to be said for how you source your coffee, and I get that. Of course, to me, you may agree, coffee is coffee. I'm not the connoisseur to understand the difference of all the flavors and all this stuff that they talk about, but it was a good cup of coffee. I mean, they put half and half in it. It was very good. I put a little stevia in it. So, but other than that, it was good to see that. And very small shop, but it's a coffee shop. You don't need a big place. You really don't. But they, like I say, they ship out a lot of coffee, and a lot of the YouTube fans, they buy their coffee. They order it. They do buy it. It's pretty cool. You got 200,000 or 300,000 YouTube subscribers that are interested in what you're doing. You have a good product. That's the best place to market it, folks. I tell you, why not? I don't have plans to sell coffee anytime soon, if that's what you're wondering. I really don't. But Stowe's a nice town. I asked her, I said, you know, it's a small place. Where do y'all go to get everything you need? And I think, obviously, Montpelier is only 23 miles up the road. And then you've got a place called Morrisville I drove through coming here. So there's places, you know, it's not that desolate out here. They have a little grocery store here in town, actually. She said it's really nice. It's probably more expensive than your typical store, but hey, when you live here, I mean, most people that live here, they can afford to do it. And that they can do, so. But we went and saw that, and all was great, and I've got to figure out where I'm going from here. I may, thinking about, you know, heading back south towards the house. You can, like I say, folks, you can see New England in a few days. I mean, you can really cover some ground, but it's beautiful. I tell you, driving all through these highways from Littleton, New Hampshire to Stowe, and from Augusta, Maine area there, from Portland into Littleton, New Hampshire is beautiful. Yeah, I recommend you drive it. You can't go wrong. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you drive it, too. It's so cool. So, let's see what else we can get into here, folks, shall we? So I've stopped at a rest area here in Vermont. I'm heading back towards Pennsylvania to spend the night. Heading back south. I'm going to go see a friend of mine for a day or two before I head home. But I'll tell you, it's absolutely beautiful up here in New England. It really is. That it is. And I would recommend you do it. Tons of places for you to stop. It really is cool. And don't pass it up, that's for sure. Once you get from Stowe, you can go to Montpelier. You get to 89. It'll take you to Burlington if you want to go up there. It's not a lot in Burlington except it's a college town, but it's on the lake. There's some cool places to see in Burlington. It really is. I mean, it's can't hurt to do that. I think it'd be cool, but Vermont's beautiful. You get up in here, just all these roads lead to wherever you want to go. And I recommend you take that drive. So I'm going to go 89 down through, I think it's going to take me 91 through New York, and not sure if I'm going through Connecticut, but I know I'm going through New York. Actually, I think it's going to take me Connecticut to New York. And then I cross that bridge again over the Hudson at Fishkill, and it takes me into Pennsylvania. So we'll be about 8:30 getting back to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Wilkes-Barre, I guess that's how you pronounce it. I guess, hell. Tomato. Go figure. Not sure where we're staying when we get there. That's going to be another question of what I want to do. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's disappointing that I didn't stay every night in my element. I could have. It's just whether I wanted to, and it's one of these things that if you build this thing out and you can fold it up and do the seat, two people can travel on this and do what you want to do. And you can get your storage. It can be done. It's up to the person doing it. But if you're like me and you've been in something that you can climb in, it's just like home, and you got your big bed and you got everything you need there, and it's walk around, and it's hard to go back to something really extremely small. It is. But I'll tell you, whoever buys this element is going to love it. It really is. It's in great shape. It's a great car. And the curtains here, I'll probably keep them with the car. I don't have any use for them. But there again, I don't know. I might keep them because you never know. I might need them for something else. They're not as tall as I would need for a bigger van, but you never know. So let's ease on to Pennsylvania, and we'll see what else we can get into today. Hopefully something good. So I'm in New York now, going down the Taconic State Parkway from Vermont. Was coming down, and I'll be to 84 here in about 8 miles, back on across the Hudson River, staying tonight in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. But there's something called a Taste of New York store. It's a rest area kind of thing. I'll check it out and see what it's all about. You know, hey, why not? We're not in a hurry. So it's called the Taste of New York. Pretty cool. It's right here on the Taconic Parkway in New York. So I hit them right when they were closing, weirdly, but I got this roast beef provolone on wheat. Can't eat the bread, but I'll eat the roast beef. Hey, on the go. And I can't have the sugar, but it's been a while, so what I call a DAC bar, Beaver bars or something. It was made in the Adirondacks. It's a New York thing. And a bar of their dark chocolate, which is a dark cocoa bar. I can eat a little bit of that at a time. So pretty cool. So if you're on the Taconic State Parkway here, coming down towards Fishkill and all that, towards 84, past Poughkeepsie, I can't pronounce that, Poughkeepsie, New York. It's in that area. Pretty cool, folks. What's up, folks? As you may know, I'm home. Last video was in New York. Not a whole lot going on between when I was in New York. I stopped at that rest area and home. I spent the night in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania again at a hotel. I was just like, I'd already talked about the element where it's a little small, and I just felt like, you know, I'm just gonna stay in a hotel. And I hadn't shaved in over a week and a half. You can already tell, that's crazy. But I stayed for a couple of days in North Carolina, saw a friend of mine, and all was well there. Hadn't seen her in like 8 years. And she was actually we were engaged for a while. She was my ex-girlfriend, technically ex-fiance. Really the only girl I ever asked to marry me. But as we know, things didn't work. It happens, in life. And go figure. But it was a great trip. It really was. The Element was awesome. It did great on the trip. And I tell you, if you really wanted the long term, I know I said some things in prior vids, but if you really wanted to really build it out and have a platform and store stuff under and have some room in the back, you could do it. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be an incredible travel vehicle. But for the way I set it up, and it was just getting in and the back of it, it was just so small, and it felt like I wanted more room. If I'd have had my van RV with me, there wouldn't have been any hotels except possibly Canada, because not knowing where I was at least for one night. And then the second night may have been an RV park, because it was beautiful in Nova Scotia, as you saw there. But be it that it may, all was well on the trip. And I tell you, that Nova Scotia area, I'd recommend you go up there and see that. Go see New England. It's great. I'm not the best at documenting a lot of things in ultimate detail, but some of these YouTubers are. But so a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of stuff that I touched on, and hopefully I kind of showed my little end of it and my opinion of the stuff. And it's just great to get out of town for a couple weeks. So I think what we're going to do is I'm gonna sell the Element. I think I'm going to take that money and put it towards something else later. I really, knowing from the smallest to where I've been, like I said, when you go to RV and a ProMaster van, you've stood up and you walk around just like your house here, you're not looking to go back to anything small like that. That's too extreme. And I like to have a little room, I like to stretch, and I like to have everything around with me. So whether it's a low top or high top roof, it'll be a big van or maybe another RV. But we'll just in time see. Right now, I just wanted to take some time off for a couple weeks and get out of town and enjoy things. And I did. I had a great trip. Besides that damn speeding ticket I got in Pennsylvania. I, as an update, just paid the ticket because I didn't get much of a warm and fuzzy feeling out of an attorney that would go take care of it for me, because he told me I had to be there with him. I'm like, epic fail. And I drove right by that exit, and the court was like right few miles down the road from that exit. But I just didn't feel like staying a day or two to wait on that and do it, and wasn't going to do it. And Milford, Connecticut wasn't going to do it. And then they're tough, but I figure what I'm going to do is just take the 4-point reduction class in South Carolina, and I'm just going to get the points removed from me and just deal with it. This guy had me paranoid the whole trip. I was stopping. I was camping out at some stop signs. I ain't going to lie. And I wasn't getting over 6 miles an hour with a speed limit. I wasn't in a hurry. I didn't give a damn. They could go around me. But anyway, when something cool comes along, I'm going to cut you in. And I will definitely see you in the next video when that drops. And I appreciate you guys for watching so much. And we'll see you on the next one. Be good. Bye.